Okay, guys, I'm going to be really fucking honest here. There's something on Twitter recently that caught my attention, and I thought it would be very fun to call it out. So I noticed that Bryn Kenney was calling out Phil for claiming to be the best in the world, or something along those lines. I don't really know what Phil says these days.
People label Helmuth as like the tournament GOAT. I'd love to hear your opinion.
Yeah, like I mean, he's the biggest winning WSOP player. He has his career, which is impressive too. He's played a lot of like big field tournaments and has been successful in those throughout time, even winning bracelet events. But I think when you think about who are the best players in poker, if you're not competing at the highest level, you can't really be in contention for it. He doesn't want to play me heads up. He doesn't want. If he's looking to ever make like a huge bet in the World Series, like I'll consider playing a whole WSOP series.
Okay.
And show him that he's not even the best at those either. And
All
I've
right.
just put so much time into poker already. Like I love poker, and I don't think you could really get to the top without loving what you do.
Phil's very accomplished, by the way, for you guys don't know. He's got 14 bracelets or 16 bracelets, something like that. I should get them just to toot his own horn a little bit. So I prefer to toot his horn for a lot of reasons, which I'll get to in a second. Bryn has won a lot of money at tournaments, I think, because he won a one drop or something. Bryn claims to be the best in the world at cash games, which I've got something to say about that, because I thought, by the way, to market myself as the best poker and player in the world, which I could probably get away with. I don't think there's going to be anyone that says anything about that, really, but someone might challenge me on it, and I don't really believe in this kind of marketing. I probably realistically not exactly the best in the world. In terms of accomplishments or whatever, like top 5 for sure, I don't know. But I don't think anyone's going to say shit to me, but I am going to say some shit to Bryn Kenney. But what I thought was fair, actually, was to knock down both of them a little bit by saying they're both a little bit full of shit, which I believe is 100% fair, and I'm welcome to be challenged on that. I'm happy that Bryn Kenney is doing loads of charity or whatever thing. That's great that he's putting in lots of positive effort. Another thing, by the way, that makes me like Phil Hellmuth a lot more, and this is a knock on all the poker players that talk loads of shit about Phil Hellmuth. While he doesn't technically have all the technical skills that all these nerdy poker players have, he has all the skills in the real fucking world where he was able to take a success in poker, and he was able to build a lot of the networks and use what he had in poker to expand far beyond poker, or far superior in terms of life ability and strategy than all these poker players. And he actually has a lot of the traits that all of them lack. And the irony is these guys all hang together. Yes, they're very good at poker or whatever, and they have a lot of analytical skills, but I feel that they're very myopic in the way that they view things. If you're trying to make more money or grow, you have to look a little bit outside the box. And this is a way in which Phil Hellmuth has totally thrived. So I just find it ironic that Bryn Kenney is saying he's the best in the world for actually what is relatively less of an achievement than what Phil Hellmuth has done. Relatively speaking, this is actually what you have to look at. You have to look at how relatively difficult things are, not how absolutely difficult things appear to be. It's not an accomplishment to invent something like a computer now than it was when computers were hard to build. It's an accomplishment to build a computer when no one knew what the fuck a computer was, and someone brought it into existence. And relatively speaking, compared to Bryn Kenney, Phil Hellmuth has actually done way, way more than that, having won tons and tons of bracelets since the beginning of poker. And by the way, you can notice that thrived in spite of his lack of like modernity in the poker scene and lack of perfect GTO ranges or whatever you want to call them. And I would also say his strategies, by the way, are superior to Bryn Kenney's, who, according to my what I've heard in the grapevine, whose business practices have not been exactly, I don't consider them the ones that I would personally adopt. Let's put them that way. And yes, now, of course, Bryn Kenney is basically better than him, sure, but how ironic is it that Bryn Kenney is claiming to be the best in the world using Phil Hellmuth's own marketing strategy and now talking shit about Phil Hellmuth for doing so? This is clearly a power play that is complete fucking bullshit, because as someone who I claim to be better than Bryn Kenney, actually, I'm wondering why the fuck is this guy able to get away with calling himself the best in the world? I don't think that's really right. If I don't personally think it's right, and that's about all I'll say about that. I hope that he changes his mind on that, because otherwise I believe he has good intentions. I just think that we're not really looking at ethics the right way. I don't believe in any strategies that manipulate for the short term at everyone's expense of what truth and what is good in the long term is. And I believe that some of Bryn's strategies and a lot of people's strategies are a bit misguided in this kind of way. I think it's a little bit subtle, and I think that these things should change. I do not believe in strategies such as asserting to be the best in the world or the best or whatever when you're not actually the fucking best. I think the world would be a better place if people change this. I believe that in society, people are slowly coming to the realization that the best business models are in fact the ones where everyone wins.